fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Voices has a new time. Starting Friday, January 24, tune in from 10 to 12 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for Voices right after Island Tea on Win FM. Money Matters with Dr. Terrence Martin moves to Monday afternoons from 1 to 2 p.m. Inside the News on Saturday mornings, now 10 to 12 noon. Tune in to Win FM 98.9. Log on to winmediaskn.com and our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch pages. And let's go. Keep up with the news on our website and by following our Win Media SKN channel on WhatsApp. Message your comments or call Win FM at 466-0989, 662-0989, or call our U.S. numbers from anywhere, 718-285-6984, 305-921-4619, and call our sales office at 466-9586. Voices, now 10 to 12 a.m. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Money Matters, 1 to 2 p.m. Monday afternoon. And Inside the News, Saturdays, 10 to 12 noon on Win FM 98.9.
And welcome back. I'm still here with you, but now we're into Voices for today. And let me see, the time is approximately 14 minutes moving away from the 9 o'clock hour. Today, the 3rd of February in 2025. How do I start this? I've been sort of perusing the news, and I see something. As you know, we here in the Caribbean are one of our main source of revenue or income is tourism. For many of us, it is, for some, it is the number one. And I think for us, it is second. Perhaps it is number one presently, but I know that the SIDF was number one, and then tourism was holding the number 2 position. And I see this article here as it relates to violent protests rocks one of our neighboring islands in terms of Royal Caribbean. And it says here, violent protest rocks Martinique. And let me see if I can play that for you.
Hairspray, grease, etc. Or they didn't get a chance to go into the big day. Well, Royal Caribbean's recent announcements of making more and more short cruises under 7 days, most of them 3 and 4 day cruises, some 5-day cruises, are now, it's starting to turn around on them, because a lot of loyal to Royal passengers are really upset, because they say they've been abandoned by the cruise line in search of new to cruise passengers, and they're kind of fed up with it. So recently, Royal announced that more and more ships in the Caribbean are going to be going to 3 and 4 day cruises, maybe a 5-day cruise thrown in with a 2-day cruise sort of situation, but they're doing it like they've done with the Utopia. The Utopia is their newest, brand new Oasis class cruise ship that's sailing 3 and 4 night sailings. And they said they brought this out for 3 and 4 night sailings to introduce new cruisers to the biggest and the best that they have to offer, to hopefully entice them to sail with Royal Caribbean more in the future. That sounds like a great game plan, except now they've gone full board. Because the Utopia was a success, they've now gone and making changes all the way from into 2020, you know, some of it's going to happen this year and next year, all the way into the winter of 2027. By the end of the winter of 2027, every Oasis class cruise ships, plus others, but all the newest ships, of course, are the Oasis class ships and the Icon. Well, the Oasis class ships, all but the Symphony of the Seas, will be sailing shorter cruises. And they're going to be in Galveston. It's going to be in all 3 ports in Florida. And people are going, wait, 3 and 4 night cruises, that doesn't help if I'm, you know, if you're a full-time cruiser, and like for myself who flies from Canada, would I fly all the way to Miami or Galveston for a 3-night or a 4-night cruise? No, there's no way in heck I'm doing that. And then people will say, well, yeah, but you can just book back-to-back cruises and then you're doing a 7-night cruise, right? Except here's the kicker. Usually a combination of a 3 and a 4-night cruise is more expensive than a 7-night cruise. Not only that, you're not going anywhere different. Here's an example of this summer's Utopia of the Seas sailing offers. The 3-night cruise you can go to, Perfect Day. Private island, by the way. Royal Caribbean's only private island. And then we're going to go to, well, surprise, surprise, we're going to go to Nassau, where they're building another private resort area on Nassau. Royal Caribbean's private area you can only go to if you're a Royal Caribbean passenger. And Perfect Day. So that's your entire cruise now, is just sailing basically to the private resorts of Royal Caribbean. That's an example of the kind of things you're going to get. If you're in Galveston, you're going to head to Mexico. Guess where you're going to go? You're going to go to the Perfect Day at Mexico. That's right. You're going to the same Royal Caribbean private island. It's a strategy they're using to bring on the new passengers and make it exciting for them to want to do it. Here's some of the issues I have. Number 1, a 3-day cruise on an Oasis class ship, there's no way you're seeing all the entertainment. You got 6,500 people on that ship and a theater that holds 1,200. So you're missing, somebody's missing something every single sailing. And that can leave passengers frustrated that they didn't get to see the Broadway shows like Mamma Mia, Hairspray, Grease, etc. Or they didn't get a chance to go into the ice skating show because the arena's much smaller. Yeah, there is some issues with that. And because it's 3 and 4 day sailings, you're getting a lot younger audience on board, which seems to turn the cruise ship more into a party ship than a family cruise ship. And a lot of people are having issues with that as well. So if you're a loyal to Royal passenger right now, and you love the Oasis class ships, you're going to have no choice anymore. You're going to have the Symphony of the Seas, and that's it. It's going to be doing longer cruises. And yeah, I'm a little disappointed with that, because you're really cutting back on the itineraries. Your loyal passengers are now having to go to your older ships, your smaller ships, or travel to Europe or Japan or Australia to get a longer cruise, or Alaska. We can't do it on your Oasis class ships in the Caribbean. You're making it all about bringing on the new cruiser and basically abandoning your loyal fans who have been, some fans have, for instance, been on the Oasis. I know some person that I've sailed with who has sailed on the Oasis ship, the Oasis of the Seas, 100 sailings. They love the ship. Will they do it if it's a 3 and 4 night now? Maybe not. What if the cost has gone up because you're booking 3 and 4 nights? What if you're no longer doing Eastern, Western, Southern Caribbeans? You're just doing Nassau and Perfect Day. And that's it. That's all you're going to go to from now on all of your Oasis class ships. Your Oasis class ships are going to go to the private areas from Royal Caribbean, and we're not going to go anywhere else. Congratulations. What a boring itinerary you're making your trips. I know it sounds good from a financial look, right? And it might look good in the books of bringing on new clients, but going all out with all of your ships, all of your best ships, is a bad idea. And then you can say, well, no, the Icon is doing 7-night cruises. Yes, it is. And it has the most expensive cabins in the fleet. Its price point to enter an Icon class ship is much higher than any other ship in the fleet. So again, you're telling your loyal to Royal people, hey, you have an alternative. You can just pay more and go on this ship. And what happens if you're not really a fan of the Icon class ship? What if you don't like the way they've done the kids club in the back of the ship now, as opposed to having the Aqua show there? Maybe you're just not a fan of the Icon itself. I think the Icon's a beautiful ship, but if you've noticed, I haven't sailed back on it since originally going on it, because the price point's just way too high. Way too high. I can go on 2 cruises on another cruise line for the same cost as going in a balcony cabin on the Icon. So I'm not going to do it. The Oasis class ships was a great alternative. I went on the Harmony of the Seas for a 7-day cruise and paid only $2,000 more for an Aqua Suite 1-bedroom cabin overlooking the high diving acts and everything, for only $2,000 more than a balcony cabin on the Icon of the Seas. That's a pretty significant difference in price. And so I think Royal's probably making a mistake here, because nothing...
And there you had it. Well, I've noted here, and I'm sure the listening audience have noted, I've mixed up my programs here. I should still be in Island T, but somehow I got all mixed up and anyway, that still could be a part of the Island T stuff. Anyway, those of you who are in tuned and you want to make an input as it relates to perhaps tourism, as it relates to the prior traffic talk, or earlier when I started and we played clips relating to the Caribbean, trying to put a bit of the responsibility on the United States of America. I'm going to have to sort of rehash and get my captions right and reassess myself so that I can get my programs into proper perspective. Do bear with me. I'll take a bit of a commercial break and I'll be right.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Adventures in history.
It's Black History Month, and here are a few black inventors and their inventions. W. Johnson, egg beater, 1884. Frederick Jones, refrigeration for transport trucks in 1938, and refrigeration for railroad cars in 1945. J. L. Love, pencil sharpener, 1897. Elijah McCoy, automatic lubrication system for railroads and heavy machinery in 1892. Jan Matzeliger, automatic shoe-making machine that revolutionized the making of shoes in 1883. Alexander Miles, elevator in 1888. Garrett A. Morgan, gas mask that saved many lives during World War I in 1914, and the traffic light in 1923. Just a few black inventors and their inventive contributions to our world.
Adventures in history.
Building supplies, electrical supplies, furniture, appliances, carpets and tiles. It's the company where you can get it all. All at TDC Home and Building Depot. From lawn and garden, the TVs and stereos. All at TDC Home and Building Depot. Come on down, get what you're looking for. It's all at TDC Home and Building Depot.
Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you. Join me, Percival Hanley, this coming Friday and every other Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Heritage Matters on Win Media SKN 98.9. Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you.
Get active! Kickstart your health and wellness journey with the TDC Home and Building Depot in the month of February. Enjoy a huge 20% discount off blenders and juicers for your healthy smoothies, air fryers for guilt-free crispy goodness, yoga mats for your daily stretch and flex, exercise equipment, and more to keep you moving. Don't wait, get active and save big at the TDC Home and Building Depot. Visit us today and take the first step towards a healthier you. TDC Home and Building Depot, where quality meets savings. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details. TDC, together we succeed.
It's the start of the week. It's time for a new perspective. It's time for Unfiltered. Join Azar Gums, lawyer and deputy leader of the People's Action Movement, for raw and unfiltered political analysis of the current events in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tune in every Sunday evening from 7:30 p.m. on Win FM. Join Azar Gums as he breaks the mantle and cuts through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on Win FM 98.9.
It's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects or sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
Okay, the time 29 minutes moving away from the 9 o'clock hour, and I have gotten my captions recorrected, if there's such a word, corrected. And so, yes, we should still be on Island Tea. Again, my apologies, as things started off for me this morning rather hectically, but I must say I am back on track. Now, I have a story here that deals with the top 5 Caribbean leaders for the year 2024 into the year 2025. Give it a bit of a listen.
As 2025 unfolds, the Caribbean continues to stand tall as a global symbol of resilience, innovation, and visionary leadership. In a world facing rapid change, the region's political leaders have once again proven their ability to navigate challenges and seize opportunities, driving transformative progress on both local and international stages. From spearheading climate resilience initiatives to fostering economic growth and social equity, these leaders are redefining the future of their nations and the world. In this video, we count down the top 5 Caribbean political leaders for 2025, celebrating their remarkable achievements in governance, diplomacy, and policy innovation. Discover how leaders like Grenada's Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, Barbados' Mia Mottley, and Guyana's President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali have set new benchmarks for leadership in a rapidly evolving world. Stay tuned until the end as we show you the visionaries shaping the Caribbean's destiny.
Okay, let me pause that a bit there and see if I can engage this caller. Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good day.
I found that clip you played pretty interesting about the change in,
Yes.
Is Royal Caribbean, was it?
Yes, Royal Caribbean.
It was specific to that, or was it generic? Are they saying that's what all the cruise lines are doing?
No, it's specific to Royal Caribbean.
Okay. Because there are 2 aspects to this I wanted to raise. I don't understand why, after all these years, the cruise industry has not come up with a different model. Well, I suppose it's applicable to other places, but certainly for the Caribbean. there's always been this model where, you fly to your home port, to the home port, you go on the ship, take away your passport, essentially, for the rest of the trip, and you're at the mercy, and you have to follow the itinerary to the letter, and then you go back to your home port and fly back home. I don't understand why they could not have made some new arrangements. You can keep that as your base, but certainly, for instance, if you're going to particular itineraries in the Caribbean, why, for instance, when the cruise ship comes to St. Kitts, you can't go on the cruise ship, go on the cruise, and then return here from flying from another place of your choice, right? Why can't they offer a package like that? Or alternatively, if it's a 7-day cruise, you can return after the 2-week duration or something like that. What I'm saying is, why I don't understand why. Well, since I don't understand. Yes, it's going to be kind of disruptive, and it's always nice to have a nice, clean package. 7-day cruise, you come on and you exit after 7 days, and that's it. And don't accommodate these little. They don't accommodate the traveler. That's the long and short of it. Okay.
Well,
I'm thinking that the tourism departments could negotiate something like that for the benefit of people on the islands who don't mind doing a cruise, who want to do a cruise, but at the same time, look at the expense of having to go to the home port and then return in there. That's one of the things. You were going to say?
It seems to me, if I follow what was being said, that the cruise line seems that it's setting out so that their main resorts, there are certain resorts that seems to be linked with the Royal Caribbean, and that travel itinerary fits into that, and it does not take in consideration what the guests really want, and that seems to be why there's this uproar. They're saying, well, yeah, we understand you're trying to do this so that it benefits you, but we are the ones who are paying, and we want this to benefit us, because the way you have it set, we're going to miss out on some of the key things that we really want to see.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not a customer-friendly approach to things.
Yeah.
It's more profit-based than anything else. It's good to have a private island. You drop off your passengers there. They have to patronize the whatever facilities on the island. They don't have to worry about things like fees and what we call them, head tax, and the whole works and so on. Yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is that there's no reason that the tourism officials can't get together in the various territories, can't get together and ask them to organize some kind of package that benefits the countries that they're going to.
And
After all, I mean...
I agree with you. I agree. I totally agree. I don't know. I suspect they have not been approached about this because everybody basically just looking to get as many cruise passengers as possible, as many cruise lines come to the port, etc., etc. If they're a home port, all the better. But doesn't it appear to you as if though, because it seems they tried this with some other cruise and it was successful, and so now they're bringing the Caribbean, this other cruise line into the link. Now, doesn't it seem, if this is successful, it seems to me that it would eventually exempt some of the ports, like perhaps, let's say, well, St. Kitts or St. Martin or whatever, if it is successful, because they seem to be trying to, as you stated, not have to deal with head tax and blah 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 blah. So I don't see. I agree with you. I don't see why the Caribbean islands can't get together and say, well, look, we want something that benefits us.
Yeah, right. I mean, because after all, well, of course, what can also mitigate against that is for the Caribbean to have its own cruise line, right, and do its own thing in competition with the others, right? And I'm surprised that hasn't happened as well, but the fact is that is a way to go as well. But I don't think that model that you talk about there is going to fly forever. Because generally speaking, the new passengers in particular, they want to see other places. It's nice going on a cruise and waking up to a different country, a different island, different country every day. Okay? You can't take that away from certainly the first-time cruiser, right? They want to experience that. Okay?
Yeah.
So I don't think that model will just disappear, right? But as was mentioned, the persons who have been on cruises know what they're about, and because cruising is still a very cheap way to have a vacation.
Yeah.
It's extremely cheap when you think about it, as opposed to, let's say, flying from wherever to your destination, staying there a whole week or 2 weeks. A cruise is definitely very competitive in terms of vacationing. Right?
Okay.
And so I don't think that model is going to disappear anytime soon. The other thing, too, is that, and I guess the marketing people look at this, but generally there are some people who don't mind. They have their favorite vacation spot. Okay. Remember, for instance, one of a long time ago, when I cruised the Caribbean, I got on this particular island and just fell in love with it. And so, I go back there pretty often. It's almost as if that place has become like a second home. You know the place, you know the people, you know the areas. Yes, you've been to all the sites and so on. And by the way, that's another important point. If you're going to be attracting return visitors, you have to have something new. You have to keep developing your destination.
Changing your itinerary.
Not the itinerary, the sights, the sounds, the
okay.
Different things. Because when you go to a destination and you return, you want to go back and see, well, what's different? What's new? I've been there, done that, but what else is there, kind of thing. Okay? And so there's that as well. And I'm not so sure that we're doing that here with our product, making sure that there's always something new and exciting. So if you came on a cruise in 1 year, in the next 2 years, you can be assured that there's something else there to look at that's going to be different, and so on. To kind of the same kind of approach that, for instance, Disney World takes.
Yeah.
There are particular attractions at Disney World, but ever so often some new park opens, some new theme area opens, and it's like there's something that you have never seen before that just pops up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Let me ask you a question. You posed the question of us getting our own cruise line. How feasible you think that would be in terms of how much does it cost to get a cruise line? Will we build a ship from scratch? Will we... Give me an idea of how you think that will play out.
It's not necessary to build a ship.
No, I just want to know how would we be able to go about doing that?
You lease a ship, just like look at what the major airlines and cruise lines do it as well.
Yes.
They lease ships, they lease planes, Okay, you don't have to own them outright.
Yes.
Okay, and then you market your whatever product, whatever itinerary you need. And remember too, we did have a model of sorts. It was it was practically no frills. I mean, I remember I was still at school when I had my first sojourn down the Caribbean islands on the federal boat.
Okay.
Sleeping on the deck, which was fun for those times. I wouldn't do it now, but certainly those times it was fun if you were still in school and so on, right? So it has been done before, right? It was a combined cargo and passenger ship, and I'm sure there's still a market for something like that. But you notice too that after COVID, there was this, when the airline industry was decimated, there was this talk about ferry services between the islands. All of a sudden, it seemed to have disappeared.
Yeah.
And you wonder why. Why can't somebody come up with a model that allows, again, it doesn't have to be like those luxury ships, cruise ships, huge luxury cruise ships and so on, with thousands of people and so on. You can have a smaller ship that allows you to go between the islands. You can have small cabins that allow you to sleep there. You don't have to sleep overnight. You can have the option, of course. You don't have to sleep on the island, on each island as you go down. But have that, you have that model that customers can buy into. I don't think they have enough of a choice between how we travel and where we travel, essentially. And I think they can do the tourism organizations in the island can do much better in terms of catering to the local clientele in the Caribbean, okay, and not just deal exclusively with the clientele from whether up north or wherever else. They're not.
It sounds like a good idea to me, but I'm still wondering how it will play out because who will be in control of it? Would the bigger islands want to, because we remember some of the problems that we had with Liat, where it was based in Antigua and you had to go through certain things, and then people started to complain that when they went through Antigua, their stuff got lost and blah, blah, blah. So,
and all of that.
Whereas it sounds like a good idea, let's give a scenario. Let's say it is controlled by St. Martin. St. Martin makes it out that, okay, you have to come to St. Martin and blah, 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 blah. How do we as a Caribbean region get together and pool together so that it works out evenly, because those are some of the problems we might find ourselves in?
Yeah, but what I'm saying that it was done before. True, it failed. I think it was Canada who had donated the ships. Yes, it failed, but I think it probably failed because, the situation back then with how each island, it was a very insular thing, and how the whole Jamaica, Trinidad, big island, smaller island thing.
So that is the problem.
but if it's left to the private sector, it might work.
Yes, well,
let the governments though just give the private sector more incentive to make it happen.
Yes,
and then stay out of it.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. But the need to rather than wait for Royal Caribbean and those big guys to determine how the cruise sector develops in our area, because they use in our area. We supposed to be able to come together by now. I mean, there's so many high-flying officials in the tourism organizations in all the Caribbean islands. As a matter of fact, there's so much duplication, it ain't funny. But anyway, they have so many of these people, and you mean to tell me they can't come up with something that is indigenous to the Caribbean when it comes around that? They have to be falling in lockstep with what's it? What they call it?
Royal
Crucial in Miami. No, not that's Royal Caribbean. Okay. There's an annual get together of cruise, the industry people. I think I think it's usually in Miami or something like that. I mean, why we have to wait for them? Why we can't get together and come up with packages and so on that suits us?
Yeah.
Right? It's so unfortunate, you know, and it's been like this for years and years and years, right? And that's the thing. Nobody seemed to be able to come up with some new model, some innovative new scheme, something. You always have to be waiting on these giants in the industry to and then follow, and then just work our way around them or to fit their agenda.
I like your idea, and I think I also agree with you that we need to stop waiting for others to take the initiative and then we just follow. We need to start coming up with ideas that benefit us.
Of course.
Anyway,
I'm
gonna have to break because as you notice, I mixed up my program, so I'm gonna have to take a bit of a break and get back and get to the right program. Okay, thanks for your interaction.
Sure.
Yes, and there you had it. So I think that's a very good idea. But can our Caribbean leaders get together and see if that kind of initiative can be a venture that we work towards, and then, as the caller said, and I agree, leave it to the private sector, make it attractive enough for the private sector to take it up and move forward with it. The time is 9:49, and let me take a bit of a break and get my bearings right so that when I come back and I get into the next program, I do it at the right time and I have all my captions set up properly. Okay, so I'll take a bit of a break and I'll be back. And when I get back, that story that I was playing there with the top Caribbean leaders, I'm going to see if I can pull that to the beginning and start that all over again. So do take care. I'll be back in a jiffy.
Found the sound, 98.9 FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WinFM 90.